Ladies and gentlemen, the following is the season premiere of Class. No. The following is the first episode of season 4 of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. With that being said, here are our introductions. In the first corner, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she's on crazy misadventures, such as running up on Santa for him not giving her what she deserved last year, which was a PS5, looking for the fabled Cobra Kai dojo, and picking fights with people while dressed up as one of the Road Warriors. Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. In our second quarter, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye's spinach. He's a trickle-dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second quarter, we have that ocean crossing. In the third quarter, we have, that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always smiling, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, the worldwide starboy, the time zone traveler, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young woman who is making a name for herself. That's right. And believe it or not, she is actually a member of the legendary Hebner family. That's right. She is the daughter of Earl Hebner, the niece of his equally legendary twin brother, Dave Hebner, the sister of Brian Hebner, as seen on TNA. And she is also a graduate of the Nightmare Factory Class 3.
Hey,
everybody, welcome to the show, Katie Hebner.
Woo! Thanks, guys. I'm excited to kick off y'all's season premiere. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem, man. When I saw that you were actually finally, because I've been watching you for a while now. I remembered when you were actually, I don't know if Rob remembers, I don't know if Kathy remembers, but I remembered when you made your debut in TNA as Gail Kim's sister, and Awesome Kong almost powerbombed you.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, she got off lucky. Mm-hmm. And then I remembered you and I think you and I may have talked several years back. It was very brief. And I asked if you were getting into wrestling. You were like, yeah. And then I guess, you took a hiatus. And then when I finally saw the Nightmare Factory, and I was like, wait, is that Katie Hebner? Oh. Wow. She actually did it. She's in one of the wrestling schools that we're familiar with, the Nightmare Factory, because if you look at our past episodes, we have interviewed a lot of people. Some you may know, like the Renegade Twins, TSF, the Diamond Sheik, the Bodyguard Austin Green, Karma Dean, etc., etc., etc. And it was great. It was great to see you, like not because you're back in Nightmare Factory, not only because of that, but you actually finally made your debut. I saw your match. I could tell you, Matt, you Hebners, whew, small, but y'all got some angst. Like,
thank you. Go ahead.
It's like the might of a wolf in a Chihuahua's body. I mean that with all due respect, because I've seen some Chihuahuas, and I've had like childhood trauma because of them. And I can tell you, man, like it's funny. I'll pit a pit bull, but I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with Chihuahua. Pitbull, I'm cool with. I'm like,
small ones. No, that's so funny you said that, because I mean, we can get more into this later, but that showcase you saw, because I was originally supposed to be in Camp 3 showcase, but because I was coming off of not only like a back injury, but and an ankle injury, like that was like a quarter of my effort, because I was still babying my injury. So thankfully for all the girls that I worked, they were in there and took care of me and like took it easy. But oh man, if you thought that was good, just wait till what's coming. When I'm all healed, when I'm all 100% healed.
I'm looking forward to it. By the way, if the Chihuahua reference offends you, I apologize. I didn't mean it like that. Because I know some people, they're like, what do you mean? But I got to say, I was really like, you were, because I just saw it was you and don't tell me, Ashley Dembois versus Gisela Lur, no, Gisela Zur and Reka Tahaka. And I know Reka Tahaka is a tough, I know Ashley, you were in good hands with Ashley, but I know Reka is a beast. I didn't know much about Giselle, but I've seen her around on Instagram recently because of the showcase in the class and whatnot. And you were like the smallest one there, and I was like, "This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how Katie does." And you came, and you took out Rekka with that Rings of Saturn. I was like, "What, yo?"
Aww. Then not before she got me with her Samoan drop. Oh my gosh, no! But all of those girls that I worked, they were great. And of course, I had trained with I trained with all the girls really, but when you get in the ring, like they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. They're great, and I loved working with them. So it was awesome. I'm glad that my first showcase match was with those girls.
Yeah, because when I saw that originally I thought you were gonna be fighting, because I know you're in class 3 and you actually debuted as a referee, and you pushed down Dean Alexander when he got upset with the way you were counting.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, she's just like her dad. The same thing her dad used to do too, like push those guys back. He wasn't the one that used to take any smack from anybody.
And so kudos to them, because that was the camp's way of trying to keep me involved with that class, because at that point I was fresh off like 12 weeks of my back injury, I believe. Yeah, because it was right after, I remember the minimum recovery time was 12 weeks. And then that was right when the showcase was. And so that was their way of keeping me involved and making me a part of the showcase. So that was awesome. So they were like, hey, here's an idea. What do you think? I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, I saw it was you, and I thought the match would have been between you and Jess Barnes, the Mountain Mama. And I was like, okay, there's going to be a women's match this time as well. And then afterwards, when I finally saw it, because it was some time until I finally saw season. I think I saw because I've seen most of the student showcases. I've seen 1, I've seen 2, I haven't seen 4 fully yet. But I saw class 3 zone, and I was like, oh wow, okay, so I guess Katie Hebner is going to go against Jess Barnes. That's going to be interesting. And then I was like, I saw the battle royal, and you weren't in it, but she entered, and I even told her, I was like, Jess, you were the OMG moment of that showcase. I was literally left like this when I saw her, like how she stood up. And then when I finally saw you made your debut as a referee, I was like, wow, that's cool, man. Katie Hebner, doing the damn thing or whatnot. I mean, man, you're actually. So one thing I'm hoping for that happens, and I really hope that she considers it, even though she's retired. It's either Katie Hebner and Gail Kim 1-on-1, sister versus sister.
Yeah.
I'm going by what TNA says, sister versus sister, or Gail Kim and Katie Hebner versus Awesome Kong, and perhaps an opponent of her choosing, preferably. Was it? I forgot what her name was. I'm not gonna. The woman with the mask over her, not Raka Khan. Was it Raisha Saeed?
Oh yeah. Her little sidekick, her manager, her valet. Yeah. Raisha Saeed. Yep, you're correct.
I would definitely like to see that. One of those matches. I definitely wouldn't mind. That would be cool.
I think if I had to have it my way, it would make sense to do a Gail Kim and like a pickup where we left off. But I think if I had to have an input because I also go over like mini matches in my head, but I think I'd have to do like sister versus sister, just because I've always looked up to Gail Kim. So it'd be really like an honor to share the ring like on the other side and to get to work with her, and that's kind of cool. So hey, you never know.
Gail, I don't know if you're gonna see this, but if you're listening, we want to see it. Please, one more match.
Hair versus hair match. See who has better hair. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. That would definitely be cool as well. Because Gail Kim is a phenomenal woman and she's a phenomenal competitor. And I always say, Kathy and Rob, y'all might have differing opinions. Katie, you yourself might have a differing opinion. But if it wasn't for Gail Kim and Awesome Kong, the Knockouts division wouldn't have been what it was. Their matches to me were classics.
Mm-hmm.
And I always enjoyed watching them. And it's just crazy how they went from enemies to having a full respect for each other. And the thing that got me was Awesome Kong, a woman whose abilities I respect utmostly is a word. She would seem intimidating, but Gail Kim was like obviously smaller, and she was just battling back, kind of like with you and Raka and you and Giselle. I was like, those. I might end up going back and watch those. But I gotta ask you, what was it like? I'm not gonna ask you. I normally ask our guests how they became fans of pro wrestling, but you pretty much grew up with the business. It pretty much tells itself.
Yeah.
But what was it like when you came home and you told your dad? And what did your uncle and your brother have to say when you said, I want to get into the family business? I want to become not just a referee, but a professional wrestler in the middle of the ring, kicking butt and taking names and making it happen like a captain.
Oh my goodness. So I know my dad's like kicking himself in the butt for taking me on the road with him all the time. Cause that's like you said, that's where my love grew from. So everyone was like, do what you want to do, Katie. Like they were pretty supportive and everything. And my dad was also very supportive. However, my dad was the most opinionated and he has expressed multiple times, like, Katie, why can't you just do this? Like, because I also like act as well. So he's like, why can't you just be an actress? Why can't you do this? He tried numerous times to talk me out of it. And then of course, when I got injured, he was really trying to talk me out of it. But he was okay with me being in the wrestling business. He just didn't want me to be a wrestler, just, of course, for injuries. But he definitely pushed for me being a referee. And I just remember telling him, like, Dad, I respect you guys as a referee, as an official, but I definitely want to be a worker. I want to try it out. Like I kind of want to stem away from that. Like I said, not taking a shot at him at all, but I just knew working and being in front of a crowd and the physicality of it, that was where I was leaning towards more so than anything. But now that I've been injured, I have to say I have been rethinking my choices. I texted the coaches a couple of months back. I was like, hey, listen, I'm still nursing my injuries. So if there's anything on the officiating side that you guys can think of, count me in. But yeah, my parents and everyone were really supportive. They just didn't want to see me get hurt. So it's understandable.
And let me guess, your brother Brian, who's also a referee, was he like, if anybody gives you any trouble, come talk to brother Brian. Come talk to your big bro. Because I'm like that with my little sister. My little sister, whenever she goes to her, I'm like, hey, if anybody, you got my number, let me know. I'll come down there.
Aww.
Make it happen. Yeah,
So it's funny because my brother, shout out to him. I'm not going to tell his age, but he's a little bit older than I am. So it was a bit of an age gap to where we didn't really we didn't really grow up together. So at that point, when I came around, he was kind of already down the road. But I have to say the most protective were the men and women in the locker room. It was funny because I was talking to Gail last month at Comic-Con in North Carolina, and she was saying we were reminiscing about the whole Gail Kim and Katie Kim thing, and she was like, I remember those people asking me how old is her? How old is her? And all I could say was, she's young, stay back. So if anything, the men and the women in the locker room probably the most protective, especially whenever I would bring a boyfriend around or anything. That's when it got heavy. They would question them, grill them, anything.
That's cool. That's definitely cool, and I like to see, that's something I like to see, that they're looking out and whatnot. Because I'm not a fan. I'm not in the business. I'm just a fan that has a deep appreciation for it. But I've heard that things can go real left real quick. And I'm glad that, they're there to actually, question who that, what
Yeah.
you doing, and whatnot, you know.
I mean,
So
I'm sure you heard like they're your family away from your family. Back in the older days of wrestling, and probably now, but it's probably lessened up because of COVID and everything. But you were on the road like over like more than half of the year, like at least 280, 300 days out of the year. So you really learn to establish a bond with these people and to really not only protect them, like you want to establish a relationship, outside, because these are the people that you're working with and these are the people who you have to trust in the ring and to protect them. So you really want to make sure that you have that solid foundation in and out of the ring. And even if you're not quite the closest with all the people, you definitely want to make sure there's a mutual respect, because when you do step into the ring, like everything goes out the door and you have to make sure like this person's life is literally in your hands. So it's great to see the morale and to see everyone just kind of being a family, really.
yeah, that's really great to hear as well. So the Nightmare Factory wasn't your first school, right?
Oh goodness. So yeah, that hiatus you're talking about. So I started training like back in high school, like my senior year. But of course, when you're still doing schooling and you're still learning how to drive and all that, it was just more like a pastime, really. And then right when I started getting into it is when the promotion that I was with in Virginia shut down. So then I took a little break. I started doing more acting, started focusing on that. And then just recently, or I guess like 3 years ago, is when I came down to a school in Georgia. I actually had my first match with them. And then, COVID hit. I went back home. I stacked my money back up, made like a smarter plan, and then came back the beginning of 2021 and trained with the Nightmare Factory. And it was cool because once I found out about AEW and the Nightmare Factory, like that was my plan. My plan was to go down to Georgia and train specifically with the Nightmare Factory. So I'm super fortunate and super lucky that I was able to get in. The thing about wrestling promotions and wrestling schools are you don't just want any and everybody teaching you how to fall. You definitely want to have reputable trainers and coaches and people who actually know the business and know what they're doing. So I put it in my mind to come down here to Georgia to train with Cody Rhodes or Coach Rhodes and Coach QT. And it took some time, but we did it. So super cool.
Man, the Nightmare Factory is just turning heads. There was an article actually I saw online about people actually going there to train, and QT was in it, and his wife was in it too. I should have shared it, but yeah, and I was like, wow, Nightmare Factory, they're definitely doing the damn thing, man. And there have been some people that I've seen that we've had on the show. We've seen them go off and do their own thing and thrive, like Karma Dean. I don't know if you've ever met her, but she recently debuted on AEW. We've seen we haven't had Angelica Risk on the show, but I've seen her. She's pretty good on the mic. And of course, I don't know if you know if you know this other guy, but our good friend, the Diamond Sheik. Shout out to the Diamond Sheik, who actually made the dynamite diamond ring that MJF wears.
Yeah, I saw that. So Cody posted that.
Yeah, so y'all have definitely been doing great. And heck, you even got the Renegade Twins. They're now the Mission Pro and the CCW Tag Team Champions. So y'all are definitely churning out champions and whatnot. So I'm gonna take another trip back in time. Okay. Gail Kim and Katie Kim. That time when you were in that ring, like what was going through like your mind? Were you like nervous, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in the ring with Gail Kim and Austin and Raisha Said, and were you feeling all these emotions, all these like butterflies, or were you like, man, my dad is Earl Hebner, I'm a Hebner, man, I got this, I grew up with this business, man, you know what? Or was there like a neutral? Was there like a bit of both?
So funny thing is, a little side note here. I've known Gail for, oh gosh, we're going to tell both our ages here. I've known her probably since I was 7 or 8. But it was really funny because before she came in, it was Victoria, right? And everyone used to think that I looked like Victoria, and they would call me Victoria's sister, Lisa Ann. And so when Gail came in the picture, everyone had just mentioned it. And so that idea, it was like summer 2008 or so. And we were just doing house shows and just, going on the road, and everyone would just say like, man, if we could do something with Gail Kim and have you be the sister, that would just be awesome. And Dutch Mantell, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was actually the mastermind behind all that. And so I remember being at a house show, and he had mentioned that idea, and then not even the following week later at TV tapings, it just came to life. And so I have to say the nerves weren't as bad, but I was nervous, which is a good thing, because if you're not nervous, what are you doing other than just putting your body on the line for nothing? But it was, it was short-lived, which I'm so sad about, because I feel like that had a lot of potential. But I think at that time she left and went to a different promotion. But I just remember it leading up to it, and I think the moment I got in the ring, I can't even remember. I know I was super geeked about it. I remember writing my journal after the taping, but I think when you're in the ring, it just everyone just zones out. So I really don't remember. I just remember screaming, going backstage, and my dad crying. That's all I remember. I do remember thinking, dang, I wish I could have gotten power bombed. But of course I was underage, so they couldn't do that to me. So that was the most that she could have done. But it was definitely an exhilarating experience, and I would so do it again in a heartbeat. It was awesome, and you got paid for it too. So that was like my little summer gig right before high school.
Wow, I could imagine when you went back to school, and they were like, "So what did you do for summer vacation?" I went on a bike ride with my dad. What did you do for summer vacation? We went cross country racing. Katie, what did you do for summer vacation? I wrestled. I almost took a power bomb from the Knockouts champion at the time. Defending my sister, but it's cool.
Yeah, it was funny because I remember we had gone over it like once. It was very just quick, and so we went over as far as the positioning, what to do, and then when it happened, I remember, and they cut it, and I think they cut it for legality reasons, but I remember like when who was it? Kong, duh. When Kong pushed me off, I actually like cut a small bump. I'm like, I'm gonna do a bump some type of way. It may not be a power bomb bump, but I'm gonna get it in. So that's why if you notice, like she pushes me, you don't see me bump or roll, but it just like pans straight to Gail and me. So I got a little bit of action that night. Oh, I can't hear you.
My bad. That's definitely cool. That's definitely cool. Because I remember that man. I tell you, those are the days, man. I remember seeing that, and that whole angle. I was like, wow, this is great. And then I heard like, wait, that's Earl Hebner's daughter. Wow, another Hebner that I getting into the ring. That's pretty awesome. So when you actually when you actually got that okay from Cody and QT and Coach Glacier and Coach Ian and whatnot, when they said, congratulations, you can now take bookings all over the country, if not all over the world. Mm-hmm. What was going through your mind at that time? Were you like, wow, like were you like surprised, or did you have other feelings going on?
It was definitely like okay, SHIT is on now, like pedal to the metal, full send, let's just go for it. The coaches and everyone took great care of us. And I remember it was right before Camp 3 showcase, because Camp 4 was a little bit different. Yeah, Camp 4 was a little bit different, just because Cody had just had his baby. But I remember like Coach Cody was in the ring, and all the trainees were outside the ring, and he had given us like a little motivational talk. And I think probably Coach QT was there, and he was like, all right, guys, you guys did it, like 12 weeks. Here we go. Like after this, feel free to use us and promote, your time here. And it's just off into the world you go. And so I think it was just like a sigh of relief and like just a wow, like we did it, which is really cool.
Wow, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob, you probably getting ideas about going. Rob is actually a referee too, so if you ever if you and your dad ever go to a wrestling event together, do not be surprised if he starts talking your dad's ears about Mr. Hebner. It's an honor to meet you. I'm a referee, and I'm just messing with you, Rob.
No, that's okay. My dad loves to talk, so it'll be great. Anytime my dad can talk about himself, it's good.
So I just got two more questions before I pass over to Kathy. My second question is: so, growing up, Hebner, what were some great wrestling memories that you had? Like, because I remember we had Vale Anawai from the Samoan Dynasty,
Okay.
and she talked about seeing Doink the Clown on a motorbike and all that stuff. And we've heard various stories from the Hart family about wrestlers staying, and I think it was either the Hart family or Stephanie McMahon that said Andre the Giant would come over and babysit and whatnot. So,
Aw.
what were some like what were some fond memories that you had of growing up, the daughter of a legendary, a famous referee?
I don't even know if like they're my fondest, but I'm trying to think because a lot of my time was spent just hanging out with the girls, like just hanging out in the locker room, just being backstage. I'm trying to think. A couple of things I do remember. Sergeant Slaughter taught me how to use chopsticks. Like he taught me how to use chopsticks. We were on a road somewhere and we all went to a Chinese restaurant. He literally like walked me through the steps. And it was funny because I saw him at the convention as well. And I'm like, my most favorite memory of you is not when you taught me to use chopsticks. So he taught me how to use chopsticks. I remember one time I was backstage and Randy Orton had came up to me and he had given me flowers and he was like, a fan gave these to me, but of course, like they're going to die before I get home and go on the road. Cause I think at that time, like his wife had just had surgery or something. I think they were for his wife. And so he had given them to me. And I just remember being so swooned, like Randy Orton just gave me flowers. What else? I used to take all of the leftover, what's the word I'm looking for? Fabric that the seamstress would make for the girls and like make them into little headbands. And like I have an actual thing from Trish Stratus's gear. And I made it into a headband. I don't know if these are fun memories, but it's what I remember. I remember doing push-ups with Chris Benoit's son. It was SummerSlam 2004, right when Orton won that belt. Am I getting my dates correct? I think that was it. Out in Ontario. I remember doing push-ups. Remember doing push-ups with Benoit's son. I don't know how I remember that, but I do. But yeah, just the experience was just great. Just being around, seeing how it was done. I definitely respect it more and pay attention more now that I know what's going on. But when I was a little girl, I was just like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. Let me just do this and do that. Playing in the ring before matches were fun. I have pictures where I have some of the wrestlers taking pictures with me, like letting me pin them and everything and taking pictures on the turnbuckles. So yeah, no, those are good. Oh, I have a picture of The Rock holding me. So that was probably one of my favorite memories, right? The Rock just holding me in his arms. So
wow, I would definitely like to meet The Rock. The Rock was like pretty much like the man when I was growing up, man. I used to have the sideburns and everything.
Yeah.
Somebody said something I didn't like. I used to give them the people's elbow, not people's elbow, the people's eyebrow and whatnot. So yeah, man, that was that. Wow, Rock. Yeah, pretty much. If it calls for it. But for some reason, you say Sergeant Slaughter taught you how to use chopsticks.
Yeah.
The Sergeant Slaughter that probably taught you was the guy with the soft voice and whatnot. But for some reason, I'm thinking Sergeant Slaughter saying, "Now listen here, take these chopsticks and put them together, and you squeeze and you dip and you do that. No, that's an order.
If not, then give me 10 push-ups. You have one chance to make it right."
Yeah. So my last question, kind of Kathy's chomping at the bit.
Aww.
So, Katie Hebner, Nightmare Factory Class 3 graduate, just made her debut in a tag team match, tapped out Reka Tahaka, the Samoan warrior with the rings of Saturn. Now you're on your way. You're gonna make a name for yourself. You're no longer gonna be Earl Hebner's daughter, but you're gonna be Katie Hebner. So I gotta ask you, what are five dream opponents? Or not dream opponents, but what are five opponents? Because several years ago, one of your trainers, Cody Rhodes, when he left WWE, he was like, he had a list of several wrestlers that he wanted to face in the near future. And then subsequently, other wrestlers started doing the same thing. So my last question before I hand it over to my tag team partner, Kathy Knight, or my other tag team partner in the stable, the toughest one, who are on Katie Hebner? I almost called you Katy Perry, my bad.
That's okay.
I'm actually a fan of her music, so please don't, yeah. But
no, I wish
who
I could
are
be Katy Perry.
who are on your top five that you want to wrestle in the near future? They could be from anywhere. WWE, AEW, Impact, the Nightmare Factory, anywhere.
Oh man. Crazy enough, and I hate to admit this, but I haven't really thought about that answer. However, thinking now, Rekka is a great one. I really enjoyed working with her. I've been scouting out before she got injured, which gosh, Godspeed to her. But Brooke Havoc, from what I saw of her, our style is, I was watching her go over something, and like our style is kind of pick your draw up now. No, I'm just kidding. Our style is kind of similar. It would be a very telling story. It would be speed versus speed. And, we're kind of the same build, the same height. And like I said, just watching the little bit of things that I did see with her, it's very similar style. So that would be very interesting, I think. Gail, I love Mickie James. I think she's great as well. And then honestly, if I could be a little mark here also as well, a fan, I think Natty Hart. And I think it would be really cool. And I say this because, of course, the Montreal Screwjob, but it would be really cool to do like generation versus generation and kind of retell that story. She's someone that I've always had in the front of my mind that I would want to work. So yeah, I guess those are 5, 6 people.
That would be, wow, you just blew my mind with that last one. I can see it now. You screwed my uncle. Oh yeah? Come get it then if you want it.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's what happened. It was literally, because then I was just thinking because I was just going over all these things of how to do this. And I was like, it could be a thing where Earl Hebner comes in and screws his own daughter over. Or it could be a thing goes, Earl Hebner comes and helps his daughter and screws over someone else and helps me win. Heel, face, either way you want to go. But I was just thinking, what's one thing that is still very relevant when it comes to Hebner? And what's the one thing you think of that's still relevant? The Montreal Screwjob.
Well, there was also, for my old head WBF fans.
I know what you're gonna say.
What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say?
You're gonna try to say the twin, the little switcheroo, the Hulk Hogan onto the Giant. Yeah. Ted DiBiase.
You know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't have a twin, so I can't do that.
Yeah, but I remember your dad more than the screw job, man. I mean, people, they just actually, I remember one time, oh gosh, please don't kick my butt for this, Katie. This was 8 years ago, and it was a TNA special, and Bubba Ray was like, I guess Devon was talking to SoCal Val, and your father was trying to stop them from they're doing the thing, and he was like, Earl Hebner, stop talking to my brother. You're 100 years old. Go away. And I'm like, ow, this guy.
Bubba's a character. Yeah. I mean, if you see my dad move around now, he looks 100. So no, I'm kidding, Dad. I promise. You look like you're 21. No, but a little fun fact, a little inside knowledge here. So that whole twin thing and everything, that was if my memory serves me correct, that was the night my dad debuted, and that very first night you saw where Hulk throws him. And so, of course, the plan was not to fall onto the cement. The plan was to be caught. And that was when he shattered his shoulder and instantly had to get surgery. So, like, just imagine the first time you're coming in and doing a show and here it is. And you have to leave the very next day to get surgery because he shattered his shoulder. He hit the barricade and fell in the cement or something and just completely donezo. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that happen to him, but see, folks, that's why I tell you, respect the referees.
Yeah.
They work hard too. Yeah. But I definitely wouldn't mind seeing. I honestly definitely wouldn't mind seeing you in those matches with Natty Neidhart and Gail Kim and all that. I know, they will definitely be worth seeing. And, I'm actually looking forward, because I know it's going to happen, to seeing you on AEW Dark and Dynamite. I know, I don't even have to think. I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and trust me, I'll be like, Kathy, Rob, look who's on TV. Look, we just had her on the show. Yeah.
There you go. You're getting me before I come big and famous, so I'll be sure to remember you guys.
But we always do this. I mean, I don't even get me started with Diamond Sheik. We got Diamond Sheik because his brother dressed up in a Scooby-Doo outfit. Shout out to Scooby-Doo as well, Leilani now. And he said, yeah, my brother's a wrestling fan too. I'm like, oh, really? Bring him on, because we have a 15 minutes of fandom segment. And then next thing you know, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go train to be a wrestler. I'm okay, well, let us know and we'll have you on the show as a main guest. He'd already been a guest before. And then next thing you know, the guy's showing, yeah, I'm in class 2 now. I'm like, awesome, let us know. And now he's, doing his thing in AEW and whatnot. So, it's like we don't care if, you're now starting out. We don't care if you're an established veteran. We don't care if you're in the middle of it all. We don't care if you ever make it to AEW or WWE or Impact or whatever. But the fact that you go into the ring and you put on a show for us, that's what makes us want to talk to you. That's what makes us want to hear your story. So we don't care. And if you look at our like I said, if you look at our history, you'll see that some people are known, some people are not. We don't care. We want to hear your story. So
we appreciate you guys. Y'all are what keeps us going. And I know that's so cliche to say, and I hate to say that, but like truly, like we do it for you guys. And we also do it because we're slightly insane. Like who wants to freaking bump on poles and wood and this much padding? But no, it's definitely something to experience. And when we step out into the ring or when we get to do anything for you guys, it humbles us. It makes us so grateful. And honestly, it keeps us going to the next show and to the next match and for the next year. So I thank you guys. And I know all of my former or fellow trainees thank you guys as well. So you're awesome.
Yeah. Trust me, the whole crazy thing, trust me. You think what y'all do crazy. Kathy goes to wrestling shows, drives 5 hours to Houston, Texas to get kicked in the shins by people and almost get chopped by Thunder Rosa. And Rob here, he actually makes bad calls and gets beat up by guys at 1CW. You know something? I'll let them explain that. Kathy, go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, Remy. Hey, Katie. How's it going today?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just chilling. Like Remy said, though, I went to a wrestling show yesterday. I'm kind of tired. So it was a 4-hour trip to Houston and back.
Wow.
Talking about insanity, like no hotel. I just do it all in, drive the 4 hours, go to the show, drive back home. Got home at like 4 o'clock this morning. So yeah.
Remind me to tell you a little side story about that because I think I'll be more insane than you.
Oh boy. I think I know where you're going because I was going to ask you about that. So I guess I'll ask you about now. You and your boyfriend went to 8 states in 6 days?
Oh, yeah. Look. Hey, I like you. You've done your research. Yes.
Yeah, well, I saw you went to Louisiana. So, of course, I'm from Louisiana. I was going to ask you about that. So, nice. 8 states in 6 days, huh? That was pretty crazy.
Was it 8 states or was it 10? I can't even remember. But, yeah, no, it was really cool. We man, I'm gonna show off how sucky my geography skills are here. But we were in Georgia and we started from Georgia to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, just like basically that whole circle. We went up to Tennessee, up to Kentucky and Arkansas, and then like back to Georgia. So we did it. Louisiana, though, that was a really fun one. We did Bourbon Street. We did the swamp tour. Got to throw some dead animal out to an alligator. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana and I haven't been on a swamp tour yet. I'd like to go on one, but yeah, we see there's like a lake near my house, and I see alligators. Like they'll cross. There's like a gravel road. They'll cross the gravel road and like get out the way. You know,
Oh my
like the
gosh.
cars are trying to pass by.
No, it was really cool. So the backside of that was we slept in cars. We were sleeping in Walmart parking lots, which my mom was not a fan of. She's like, "You please do a hotel, Katie." I'm like, "No, hotels are boring. Let's live life." And so we would sleep in the car, which I'm cool with sleeping in the car because I'm 5'2". Meanwhile, he's 6'2" and just at 206 some pounds. So he was and of course, because we had the rental car for so long, we were trying to make it the most affordable. So we had like a small little compact car. So here he is, just all bunched up. And I'm like having a great sleep. But that was such a fun experience. That's probably one of my favorite experiences in life. And I love traveling. I think right now I'm at 23 states that I've been to. And I'm trying to hit all 50 before 50, which I think I can do.
That's awesome. And then you traveled with Earl too, I'm sure, like to all those shows too. So you've traveled a bunch, I would think.
Yeah, so I didn't travel too much with my dad, not as much as So I would travel to the farthest I've been was Ontario for SummerSlam, but I would travel a lot to like the local shows, just up and down the East Coast. I did go to Pennsylvania once for a show, but it was mainly just local shows, just because I was still in school. And my mom, we lived in Virginia Beach at the time, so it was just kind of more of a convenience type thing. But so I'm making up for it now.
There you go. Now, did you go to, since Earl was in Impact and you were, the whole Gail Kim sister thing, did you go to a lot of Impact shows too?
Yeah. So I didn't go to a lot of, like, I went to a good amount of WWE shows, but when I started really going in, so I don't know if you guys know this, but like Hermie Sadler, UWF days, do y'all know what I'm talking about here? So that's when all of my shows, and that's when a lot of, I don't even know if they were merged or not, but a lot of TNA talent would do UWF shows. They kind of worked hand in hand. So I would do a lot of the UWF shows, the TNA shows, and yeah, so that was fun. That's where we really got into it as well.
So you had mentioned like you had some memories from WWE. Who did you hang out with backstage with in Impact, and what were those memories like?
Oh man, so Impact I can remember a little more. That wasn't too long ago. Some of my favorite. Who did I hang out with? So some of my favorite memories were with AJ Styles. So my dad and Sting. My dad, as a pastime, they would play cards. They would play gin rummy. And so it was really, 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 really funny to see AJ get mad. And whenever AJ got mad, he didn't cuss. He would just be like, "Dad, got it," and just in his country accent, and just say like some off the wall country slang. I'm like, what? He would throw his cards down and walk away. Desmond Wolfe. I don't know if you guys remember him. That's his name, right? Yeah, the British guy. I remember doing like magic tricks with him. He was showing me some magic card tricks. Devon's boys.
Nigel McGuinness, for those y'all that don't know.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I was saying for the listeners, that's Nigel McGuinness. He's in NXT UK. For those y'all that don't know.
There you go. Yeah, thank you for that. Devon's boys. I got really close with them throughout some of my summers with them, which I love them. Shout out to TNT. I actually went to Devon's school for like literally a day. It was my summer vacation. I had nothing to do. So I'm like, let's go do it. So that was really cool. I'm trying to think who else. So the people that my dad really hung out with and we did the loops with were merch guy Jason James, Craig Jenkins, Don West, Dutch Mantell, all of them. So we kind of hung out with them and did the loops. But my favorite memories were after the show. We would go to Capitol Ale House. This was when Impact was filmed in Orlando. So we would do the shows. Oh, hello. I used to go to the amusement parks as well. So I used to ride the rides. We would ride the rides, go and do the shows, and then go to Capitol Ale House afterwards. And that was all fun stuff. Seeing drunk wrestlers, what else do you have to do, right?
Yeah, that's true. It was in Universal Studios when they first started. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, I remember taking, it was my dad and I don't know who else. And then we took AJ on Revenge of the Mummy. So if you guys ever get a chance to talk to him, you'll have to ask him when Earl and Katie took you on the Revenge of the Mummy, because he was not crying like a baby. Wink, wink.
Uh-oh.
No.
That's pretty cool. We actually got to interview his tag team partner when he was in WCW, Air Paris, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, if we ever catch AJ, that would be pretty awesome to interview him too.
Aw.
So you did mention the Montreal Screwjob a little bit, and we always hear, Brett's side, we hear Sean's side. Earl did do like an interview at one point, and we got to hear his side, and then like Vince McMahon and all that stuff. But what was it like, when Earl had to deal with all of that, and you had to see him go through that? Like, how was it like on your end watching him, kind of break down with the whole Screwjob thing?
Honestly, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Montreal Screwjob was what, 90?
97.
90, okay, I was thinking 96, 97. So shocker here, I'm adopted, clearly. So I didn't get adopted until 96. So even then I was 1 year in with the family. So I don't have any memories of that. However, I will say what you guys see because I'm guessing the interview you're talking about is the Dark Side of the Ring. Is that the one where you saw the interview?
Yeah, I think so. It was one of them. There's so many. They do, the whole thing.
So basically what you see in that interview is basically what happened. The story hasn't really changed from what I've heard. I just know that it was a heavy decision that was weighing on him, and it was something that he felt terrible about. But I will say back in 2014, to be honest, I wish it wasn't at a house show, but it is what it is. Bret Hart came to a house show in Petersburg or Prince George, about an hour out from where we lived at the time. And they made up and they had a little talk and a brotherly hug. So all is good between them. It's a tricky thing. I can't even say that if I was in that position, I don't even know what I would do. Like you have your job, and then you also have, your loyalty with your friends and your loyalty with your job. So I don't think anyone can really be so quick to judge or be so quick to have an opinion so heavily when they probably haven't been in that predicament. But luckily things have moved forward and they're all good for what I know of.
Yeah, I think out of everybody, he probably had the toughest position to be in because I'm sure he's friends with both of them. Mm-hmm. Vince is his boss. He has to do what his boss told him to do. So, I think out of everybody, Brett was very pissed off and everything like that. And then Sean, the whole thing, deal with that. But I think out of everybody, Earl had it the hardest.
Yeah. Because you're in the middle. What do you do?
Yeah,
so I
exactly. Agree. That was a tough position to be in.
For sure.
But so you did do some refereeing before you became a wrestler, and you did some cool things with your dad that I was watching on like your social media pages, and you have a YouTube page too. So I was watching that, and so Earl had a kind of a retirement match that he refereed. It was for Ring Wars Carolina in 2018. Mm-hmm. And you actually surprised him. There was something went in the match that wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't planned, I should say. He took a bump and you actually refereed and took his place. Yeah. So how cool was that to surprise? I watched the video and he's like, man, you got me. How cool was it to surprise him with that?
So that was really cool. And it's funny to hear you say retirement match because he's actually going to Ring Wars in February to do another match. So I'm like,
they never retire. That's the thing.
They never retire ever. But so Eddie, who is the promoter for Ring Wars Carolina, he worked for TNA for a bit too. So that's how they have close ties. He had messaged me and was like, listen, I want to do something cool with your dad. What can we do? I'm like, sure, shoot me any ideas you have. I'm game for it. So the original plan was to not tell my dad all, but I wanted to tell my dad a little bit. So I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm coming, because the original plan was to hide me out until I had to do the run-in, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to see my dad. So we just kind of hung out throughout the day. And the whole time I'm like, you don't know what I know. And so when I just remember waiting for my cue and looking out of the gorilla position, just watching it. And I went out there. I got stuck on the ropes almost. I went and like did my thing, and I don't think it registered at first because I think I remember saying like, "Dad, you cool? You cool? Like, get out. We got to count." He's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And then I don't know if I can cuss here, but I'm not going to cuss. But I just remember him saying like, "Yeah, I'm good." What the F are you doing in here? I'm like, Dad, we don't have time for that. Get up, let's go. And so we did whatever we did, and I counted 3, and it was really funny. He gave me hell for it because when I counted, I guess I like overextended my arm and did something weird because then I tweaked it a little bit. So I'm like, shoot. He said, how are you going to mess up a 3 count? And I've been doing it for 30 some years. I'm like, I don't know, Dad. Clearly, I don't have the referee arm right now. But that was really cool. And at that time, I hadn't had my first match. So to be in the ring with him, even if it was a wrestler or a worker, it was so cool. So it meant just as much to him as it did to me.
That's awesome. So another cool thing that happened to you, you actually had a match for, I guess it's classic pro wrestling. It was in your hometown.
Yeah.
And it was for a title championship against Jordan Blade, and your dad was the referee for that match. So how awesome was that?
So I'll touch base on that, but my first match was actually in Georgia. So my dad flew out to Georgia, and the promotion I was with at the time, he officiated my first match. So like just going off my first match with my dad, that was extremely an honor. And I honestly, I could not have been more thrilled that my dad was in the ring with me than anything else. I don't think I could have made that match without my dad. But going towards classic pro wrestling, that was really cool. The show that we did was called Homecoming, and that was truly a homecoming for many reasons. One, because obviously it was in my hometown, but secondly, everybody you saw at CPW, those were the people that I started out with. I trained with all of those people. Shout out to Dave McLeod. He was the owner of GXW. And so that's where all those people you see, we came from GXW. And so Jordan Blade, we trained way back when. And so it was really cool to put on a show. My family got to come and see. It was awesome. And it's funny because one of my Facebook memories pops up every year, and my status says, I quote, "Some girls dream of having their father walk them down the aisle. I, for one, dream of having my dad referee my match." And it happened. And I have to say, you would think that me being with my dad, I would be a bundle of nerves and just freaking out, because my dad's also like me, very high energy and just like, chill out, Dad. But my dad was so calm. Like, he is not the dad that I know. My dad is a hothead and crazy. But in the ring, he was so calm. He walked me through everything. He was right there with me. And I can see why so many workers respect my father as a referee. And I first-handedly got to see it. So it was really cool and really special.
Yeah, that had to have been an honor. I was watching that match on YouTube, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like,
yeah.
Who else gets to say my dad refereed my match,
I know. It was truly special. And I thank Ronnie, for the promoter, for helping that happen.
So you mentioned your first match, and that's also on your YouTube channel, which I'm stealing one of Rob's questions here. I'm sorry, Rob, but usually people, when we interview them, they're like, is your first match in a vault or something? But like, yours is on YouTube, on your own YouTube channel, and you went a step further and you put behind the scenes stuff about your first match, which nobody does that. Like, they always want to hide it. And so, like, you did something above and beyond that. Like, we all get to see not only your first match, but like the whole day, like behind the scenes, how that went. Like, that's pretty awesome.
I should probably go and reconsider that, because looking back now, I'm like, oh man. But no, not to give too much away, because I'll let people go watch it for themselves. But that was a crazy day. Everything leading up to that day was crazy. I mean, of course, what is your debut match without like several hiccups? My outfit didn't come in time, so I had to go and just put different pieces together. My music was all crazy. The card was switched up at last second. mostly because of me. And it was insane. And a little insight on that too. I was supposed to go over, but I was so nervous. I was like, Dad, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like we got to change it. Looking back now, I definitely probably should have taken that opportunity, because when a promoter or someone sees that potential in you, it's definitely an honor, and you should probably run with it. So if I could go back in time, I definitely would redo that. But yeah, no, I love behind the scenes stuff anyways. Like, I'm the person to go and watch behind the scene features on DVDs, and yes, DVDs, before watching the movie. So it was just something that I wanted to do, and it was pretty cool for me. So hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like the bloopers. Like when they
Yeah.
mess up, I like that part.
Yeah. I have plenty of those too. Don't worry, I'll load them up for you.
So you being Earl Hebner's daughter, you know, the whole Hebner family, you know, and there's you know, Charlotte Flair, and there's all these legacy, you know, second generation, third generation people.
Yeah.
You know, Randy Orton and Dominic Mysterio, and the list goes on and
Mhm.
on. Do you feel any pressure to be a legacy? You know, I have to live up to Earl Hebner.
Yes. So 2 different answers before that. Charlotte Flair, she would also be a dream match. Completely like overlook that. And as far as Dominic, I saw that match where he won the title with his father. That was super cool. As far as the pressure, yes. And that's one thing that I've mentally battled with in my head, because like it was always like when I had my first match with my other promotion, I didn't go under Katie Hebner. I went under Katie Kim, because it was just the fear, the fear of failing, the fear of course, having she's just another second generational wrestler. And I didn't want to have that. So there's definitely pressure. But one thing that a lot of people have told me, and I will give them their credit, is I'm not a wrestler and I'm not a referee. Like, it's one thing if I was a referee, and even then it's still a lot of pressure. I'm a wrestler. You know, it's 2 different stories here. So I think with anything, like, you just always want to make your parents happy. I probably look too much into it when it comes to the world, but you just always want to make your parents happy. But of course, when it's something that's so publicized and in the media, such as wrestling, like, of course it's the added pressure. But hopefully I'm doing all right. I guess I'm doing all right. But of course, I just want to make sure that everything I do when I step into that ring, or even when I'm just out in the world as a Hebner, that I represent, you know, my family, and just do everything to the best of my ability. And I just really want to show people that I'm truly in it, and that it's not just a phase or not just something that I want to do, because it's hard. And I hope people can see that and will see that in the days to come.
Yeah, that's got to be really hard too, because you are, you know, you have a namesake and you have to try to make them proud, and you hope you make them proud. So I could see like that it puts a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, but I feel like, and like people say, it's just added pressure. It's just all in my head, because like people have said, you know, people are gonna love you or hate you regardless. You cannot please anyone. So there's no point in putting all this pressure on you to try to please people when it's not gonna happen most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned to chill out a little bit. I've learned just to enjoy the ride, but my parents definitely get an earful still every now and then.
People, especially fans, they tend to get fickle and jealous, and they're like, oh, you know, they'll make or break you too sometimes. But yeah, they're pretty fickle, and you can't please them anyway. Like, they change like a dime, you know, a drop of a dime. So
I know that's one thing that I really am trying to keep in mind, that social media is crazy, and the things that people will pick apart and just go into and dive into, it's insane. So I try to I'm very mindful of how I present things and how I do things, and I just try to keep a strong head on my shoulders and just keep it pushing.
yeah, they pick a lot of stuff apart, and it's like, go outside. Like, why are you talking about these insignificant things? Like, go touch grass, as they say these days, you know?
Yeah,
go do something. Stop arguing on the internet. It's tiring. Like, I hate seeing it too. Like, I don't want to be on, like, I hardly even look at my timeline on Twitter. I'm like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
It's horrible. So Remy mentioned it too, and you talked a little bit about it. You have a Rings of Saturn finisher. Of course, Perry Saturn made it famous. And there's a lot of people that have lately, I've been seeing it, come back. So what did you what made you choose the Rings of Saturn?
I don't even know, to be honest. I think it was something because I knew that I wanted to do something with submission with my size. Clearly, a power bomb was not in my tool belt, so I definitely wanted to do something where it was submission, technical. I think I came across that with when I was watching Jazz. I think she's the one that I saw it with, but I think it was just through film study that I just came across that. And I was trying to find, because when you have move sets, of course you want to do things that you can do on most everyone. And I think that was just kind of a thing where I could get into it, at any given time. You can do it. I have like a various ways you can get into it, and just something that will catch you off guard. So I can't really say there was a specific moment where I was like, oh, I got to have that. I think it was just through tape study.
Awesome. Yeah, like people are bringing it back, and I think some people had probably forgot about it. He isn't really in the spotlight anymore, and but I was like, oh look, they're bringing it back. Like a lot of people are, so it's pretty exciting as an old school fan of wrestling.
Oh, for sure. It was funny because you should have seen my face when I saw Dr. Britt Baker do it, who is on AEW, and I was like, oh no, the lockjaw, like. She could have been doing it anywhere else, but of course, the same promotion that I'm trying to go to. I'm like, it's okay. Britt Baker can have it. I guess I'll let her have it. But no, it really is hard to come up with different moves and to be really creative. So you kind of have to just take it, run with it, vamp it up a little bit, and just make it your own.
Yeah, it would be hard to, and then especially if the same person's using it while they're still wrestling, because usually, Kevin Owens uses the stunner now because Stone Cold's not wrestling anymore. Yeah. So you kind of do it like after they retire, but when Britt's still wrestling, so you're like, oh, I need to make something else up, come up with something else.
Aww.
So my last question before I turn it over to Rob, it's a little bit like Remy's, but like his last question, but with a twist. So like you, in your showcase, you were in a tag team. Would you continue wanting to be in a tag team, and who would you want a tag team with?
Oh man. So that, if I can remember, don't quote me on this, but if I can remember, I think that was everyone's in the matches first tag team match. And mad respect for the tag team out there, because wow, that I wouldn't say it was really complicated, but you definitely, it's a lot easier just to remember like, yours and my moves, but to remember 3 other people, and then God love the ref who has to remember everything as well. It was so many different rules, and it was definitely, it was a cool thing to learn. And, now we have in our little tool belt and we can go forward with it. But I wouldn't turn down being a tag team, especially, starting off. I don't think it would be a horrible thing, because starting off, you still have someone to take off the pressure with you and to give it back and forth. But as far as who I would want to tag with, are we talking about like Nightmare Factory people, or just
anybody? Like, who would you be your dream tag team partner?
Oh man, who would? That might have to be a come back to you, circle around type question. I can say it's probably someone who. Let me get back to you on that one.
Look at me asking the hard hitting questions.
You have smoke coming out of my ears. My brain's here.
Well, before I turn it over to Rob, just want to say thank you for coming on the show. It's an honor to, interview a Hebner. That's pretty awesome. And I wish you continued success, and I'd like to see where your road takes you in wrestling.
You're the best.
It'll be exciting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And if I might add, Rob, I don't mean to cut you. You're going to get your chance. I'm not trying to be Kanye West 2009. But our good friend, Scott Bruce, he actually said that VWR needs Katie Hebner, Vixen Wrestling Revolution, which will be having a show this upcoming Sunday. So you might be wrestling in Texas.
That's
I don't know.
okay.
I'm not trying to start anything, but I think that's an invite to, to the Lone Star State. So
I love
yeah.
Texas. That's good.
Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
That's right. Sweet. So what's going on, Katie? How's everything going today?
Hi, Rob. The best for last, right?
There you go. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. They wore you down and stuff, so now you're all worked in, comfortable when I come on. So
Oh, you don't know me. I have energy for days. It's all good.
There you go. There you go. So how was your day today? Do anything spectacular? Have a pretty cool day.
How was my day? I literally did nothing. So yeah, cool,
Oh.
easy peasy, I guess.
Oh, hey, I'm all for those days when you can just sit around and do nothing. You know what I mean? Hey, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, are you a dog person or whatever? Do you have dogs? Did you hang out with the dogs today?
Actually, yes, I did. So I'm a cat person. I love cats. I
Okay.
have 2 dogs at home back in Virginia, so I've grown up with cats and dogs. However, my roommate does have a dog, and I actually did hang out with the dog today. There was a TikTok trend that I saw where it's like those sound effects where you play a dog toy and get your dog's reaction, and I did that, and the dog went crazy. Casca is her name. So yeah, I guess that was the highlight of my day, teasing my dog or teasing their dog with a toy when I didn't have.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, at least the
Living
dogs,
the life
they're
over
probably
here.
they're probably having fun with that. You know what I mean? So you know how dogs are.
Exactly.
That's right. I have 3 beagles and stuff, and I took them out today and stuff, and they were just barking everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Oh,
oh Lord.
yeah. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. We have
Yeah, we went out to
Casca
the
does that too.
yeah, we went out to the park and stuff. I guess deer and whatever kind of wild animal was going by there. They got that scent, and it was like, oh, that was it. That
Yeah,
was
'cause
it. I'm like, oh.
beagles are great for hunting, right? So
hmm
it's funny because Casca, she's a pandemic dog. So literally everything is just so new to her. So when she sees people or animals, she goes crazy. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I live out in the country and stuff, and I know my neighbors. I know they probably hate me 'cause in the morning when I got to take my dogs out like 5, 6 when they go to eat and use the restroom. Oh, they'll start barking and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I know my neighbors are cussing me or like, Jesus, that guy. I'm like, oh, I feel bad.
It's all good.
That's right. So, I was doing a little research and stuff, and I seen you. Not only are you wrestling, you wrestle and all that ref and stuff, but you also do a little acting. I seen a little Jeep commercial and stuff you did. That was pretty
Oh,
cool. So, like, how did you get into the acting gigs and all that? And I actually have a friend who she didn't do a commercial for Jeep. She did like a modeling thing, like it was like like
yeah.
that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So next show, she was like, oh, I'm bringing you like 5 things autographed for you. And all. I'm like, oh, you ain't got to do all that. I mean, I was just like, it's cool. I know you. But anyway, how'd you get into that? And that Jeep was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool commercial.
Oh my gosh, you guys, man, y'all really dug way back. So very long story short, I was 10 years old. I wanted to do acting because I just always loved performing and acting and everything. So my mom took me on a little like modeling call. So I was with Model Logic I got signed with them when I was 10 years old, and Model Logic does print and commercial. Landed my first job at 10 years old, got paid $3.50 for saying thank you for a Virginia Education Association commercial. And yeah, my mom was my momager, and she would find me these little commercial and print jobs, and it just kind of went from there. So when I first moved to Georgia, I moved to Georgia in 2018. The first time I moved to Georgia was for acting and wrestling. And that's because back in Virginia, the print and the commercial is really high. I have a great agent over there, and I do a lot of print and commercial work, but I wanted to go into TV and film, which Georgia is becoming like the new Hollywood, they say. So that's why I moved to Georgia for that. But then I became at a crossroads because it became the point of trying to give half to acting, half to wrestling. And I saw myself like not really giving my full potential. And that was another thing that I battled with. People were like, Katie, you gotta put your eggs in one basket for this one. You gotta really go full force. I'm like, no, why? Like, why do I have to choose one? And then I realized, okay, yeah, maybe I do have to choose one. So right now, acting's kind of on the back burner. I'm just kind of going full force with wrestling. But I did theater in high school. I'm a thespian. So it was something I always enjoyed. I loved it. And hey, if you can make money off of smiling and holding a credit card in a Jeep commercial, why not?
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It hits your marks and all that stuff. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's right.
Yeah.
So, like, say when you're finished with your wrestling career and all that stuff, would you consider maybe going back into acting? Maybe do some directing, write your own movie or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So I do a little bit of acting. I do a little bit of background stuff now, just because it's good side money. It's the hours, the flexibility of it. Well, I shouldn't say the hours because the hours suck. If any of you guys have ever been on set, however, it allows me to still make a little bit of side money while still doing wrestling. But I've thought about that. I'm trying to think. Directing, I don't know about that. I thought about stunt work because thought about doing that. I'm a very loud person, if you can't tell. So, and I have a theater voice, so I thought maybe like doing theater, but definitely acting is still something right up my alley, and that's always going to be a backup plan. And hopefully, I'll get something off of that.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I've actually, I haven't been on a movie set or whatever, but I have been on like an independent movie. I played a zombie. And I got to, chase the star down and attack him. I got killed, though. You know what I mean? They got close of me getting killed, but that was pretty cool. It was a cool day, though. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this acting stuff ain't too bad,
Yeah. I remember
fun.
when I had my first job here. Oh my gosh. It was for the Bobby Brown movie. And so it was for a concert scene. That's mistake number one, concert. I'm telling you, it was like a cattle call. And like, I think it must have been 800 to 900 people there. And it was my first job down in Georgia. And I remember eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with plastic spoons that we had to make ourselves. And I remember that gig itself was like 19 plus hours. Some of these sets will really have you thinking, like, do I really want to do this? Like, I can see why there's like a nice trailer that these actors and actresses have.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, Kathy was talking about it earlier. Your trip, you guys did like 10 states, 10 days, whatever it was. Now, one of them I got to see y'all went and seen Graceland, Elvis's mansion, house or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, my mom, she's a big Elvis fan. I don't know if you know, but yesterday was his birthday. You know what I mean? So even though she worked, she jammed to Elvis. You know what I mean? All that stuff. So, what was Graceland like? And how cool was it? Cool in there and all? Because my mom, she's never been there. I got to try and get her out there one time. You know what I mean? But yeah, what was it like over there?
Sorry, you'll have to excuse. Casca just came downstairs, so that's why I keep on looking down. I'm trying to like keep.
No, you're good. You're good.
Stepping on the cords. Graceland was so cool. I would definitely do that again. And my mom is also a huge is also a huge Presley fan, so it's something that I would consider taking her to. But wow, thank you. It was something that was really cool. It was a self-guided tour, so you got to have your earphones, your iPad, and go at your own pace. And my favorite was his little studio, and I really loved his movie theater room. That was really cool. It was really cool to see what a house looked like back in the day. And then, of course, right where he's buried, that was very chilling. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but that was just like really cool to see. But they definitely did a great job, and it ran very smoothly. And I would recommend that in a heartbeat. That was really fun.
Yeah, because I'd like to do that. And then I think Johnny Cash's house is not far from there or whatever.
Okay.
I'm trying to go there too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know how far away it is from there, but yeah, I heard it's around there. I'm like, well, if I go do that, I gotta go see Johnny Cash too.
Yeah.
So I gotta do that. Check him out.
For sure.
That's right. So I also got to see you're a fan of the football team, the Washington football team, and your boyfriend is a fan of the Eagles. So how does that work out on Sundays? You know what I mean? Because they're division rivals and all that. And I was like, oh man, how's that work out? It's good. Sunday's got to be awesome hanging out with y'all watching football.
So I'll take an Eagles fan over a Cowboys fan. I don't know if I can do Cowboys. However,
There you go.
It's fun. We're naturally competitive people anyway, so we'll compete over anything. But last Sunday, of course, when we played each other, that, like I was telling you guys before we went on air, it was a 9-hour car ride because we took a trip to Virginia. So that 9-hour car ride was not fun for him because I would just look over him and just be like, schooling at him. But it was fun. I love watching the games, and that was my first Washington game. So it was super cool. Some dumb plays the very last half of the game, but it's cool. I guess I would rather lose by a couple points than just be blown out.
There you go. Now I did see a picture with y'all. Y'all were on the Cowboy Stadium, sitting on the 50-yard line on the thing. Now, how'd y'all make it? How'd y'all make it? You know, did you have to take a shower right afterwards? You know what I mean? Like, oh, we got burned these clothes. We got shower. Like, was your skin on fire? You know what I mean? Touching that, you know, that star helmet and all that stuff.
Walk around with sage and everything. No, it was fun. So we got a lot of heat for that. We definitely were like breaking necks. People were like, no, you can't come in here. So that was a very iconic picture. That was probably one of my favorite pictures. But I probably shouldn't say this on air. However, the Dallas Stadium was really cool. That is also something that I would highly recommend. I got to go in the cheerleaders locker room, and just the stadium itself was just super cool. So, I mean, granted, it was the Cowboys Stadium. However, you know, it was a little worth it.
Yeah, I have heard that stadium is like awesome. It's like top of the line. Just because I have friends, they're Cowboy fans too, and I'm like, every year it's they're gonna win the Super Bowl. It's the coach's fault. It's the coach's fault. Every year it's somebody else. I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Sadly, they're headed that way.
My friend looked me in the eyes one year. Looked me straight in the soles of my eyes one year. It was like, the Cowboys are going undefeated this year. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, who's gonna beat them? Who can beat them? I was like, you're telling me they're better than a Tom Brady Patriots team, like, for real? He's just like, who can beat them? I'm like, all right.
Oh,
then they went like 8-8. I was like, okay.
Brady, I guess credit where credit's due with Brady, but no.
Hey, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I had to put up with him for like 20 years, you know. So, twice a year. So I do want to ask though, you know, since you know, a lot of new movies and TV shows are coming out, you know what I mean? What are like some movies and TV shows you're watching right now, or is there anything you're anticipating?
So, I should not be admitting this considering I want to be in the entertainment industry, but I don't watch much TV or movies, honestly. I truly don't. Like, here's how limited my TV is. I've never seen Walking Dead, never seen Game of Thrones. I've never seen, what are some like really popular TV shows? Like, put it this way, I just saw Lion King for the first time, like actually paying attention to it, like maybe 4 years ago. And my mom always gives me crap because she's like, Katie, you've seen it before. I'm like, no, but truly I hadn't until 4 years ago. So my TV and my movies are very limited. So sorry about that.
Don't feel bad. I've never watched Friends. I've never seen Harry Potter. You know what I mean? So
no, Friends is my show. Like that is my show that I can watch all the time. People always say you're a Friends person, you're an Office person. I'm not an Office person. I love Friends. I'll take Friends all day over Steve Carell.
I like the show Archer. That's my reply to that. If you ever seen Archer or whatever, that's my reply.
Never
to that.
seen it.
Archer. Okay. Yeah, if you do, it's hilarious. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I see you with your posters back there.
Huh?
I said, I see you in your posters back there.
Oh, yeah. See, I got my Terminator too. See, it's always been my favorite movie because I'm like, how can a robot make me cry? You know what I mean? I'm still a grown man. And at the end, you know what I mean, where he's got to kill himself, you know what I mean, because the microchip's there. I'm like, oh, man. Oh, come on, Arnold. Man, it gets me. Oh, I don't know. And then Back to the Future, I just love that movie. It's just awesome. You know what I mean?
You're gonna cry just talking about it.
Oh, I know. I'm getting teary-eyed. My dogs, they're going to come in here and be like, is everything okay? Are you good? I'm like, no. I was just talking about Terminator, guys. You know what I mean? So I do got to ask, back to like a couple of wrestling questions. You know, like you said, you traveled, you know, all across, you know, America and stuff. So is there anywhere like you would love to wrestle, like maybe Japan, England, Canada, Mexico, South America, you know, stuff like that? Do you have a favorite place?
Japan and Mexico. Japan, just because it would be such a cool experience because, of course, their style is completely different than ours. Like, even the way they ring a bell is completely different. And then Mexico, just because the lucha style, I think is really cool, and it'd be right in my alley. So, yeah, those two places.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I did, for being backstage at WWE and stuff. How was their catering? Like I've heard that there the food back there, you can just be like, oh, I could gain 20 pounds a day. Like, oh, it's so good.
I don't remember WWE, but I remember Impact. Impact was really good. We
Ooh.
had the same people every time, and they took care of us. Miss Angie, I think it's her name. It was a husband and a wife, and they took care of us. So yeah, catering is always the best. I mean, on certain movie sets or certain sets you go to, even catering is the best there. So hey, food, I'm there.
That's right. That's right. And I did want to ask, do you have another match lined up, or maybe reffing or wrestling coming up soon?
So I actually go to the specialist, my ortho specialist this week to determine what the next couple of months look like for me, because I've been having a lot of issues with my back. I think I jumped in the ring too soon because 18 weeks is when I jumped back in, and 12 weeks was the minimal recovery. And so I think I came back in a little bit too soon. And, as stubborn as I may be, and I keep on wanting to push through, because it was one of those things where it's like, Katie, you have this opportunity. You're right there at the door. Like, this business does not wait for you. No one waits for you, really. So you really need to do something, But after talking to my coaches, my parents, and everyone, it's something that I need to take a little bit more serious and go get it looked at, because it's your back. So, that question is also to be determined. I go see my specialist Thursday, so I'm taking a drive up to Virginia, and we'll see what's going on. I think there may be some like sacrum issues or something, just some more underlying issues that I'm not aware of. So sadly, if I have to take a little more time off, then hopefully officiating or doing something on the officiating side is something I can dabble in, just to kind of still be active and still be doing stuff. But we'll see. Leave it up to God at this point.
Yeah, I hope it all works out for you too.
Thank
And all,
you.
yeah. Hey, yeah, and if you do officiating and stuff, yeah, I would love to pick your brain, Hebner's brain about the reffing and stuff, because I'm still green as goose poop. You know what I mean? I only got a few matches under my belt, yeah, but I would love to pick, because I don't think I would ever get a chance to talk to your dad, uncle, or brother or whatever. But I figure,
I mean, you never know. You can always shoot your shot. Just do it. You never know.
Oh yeah, there you go.
My dad is because he's been like a little bit. Because he's been a little more slower side in the ring, he has been doing a lot of interviews, so you never know.
Yeah, I might have to ask, I mean, even if it's not on here, I would just love to pick brain, about, doing this.
Just don't forget the original Hebner here, okay? That's all I ask about.
Oh yeah, I'll bring your name up. Be like, yeah, I know your daughter, Kate. She is so awesome. You know what I mean? Da, 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 you know what I mean?
There you go.
That's right. So before I pass it on back to Remy, I want to ask, are there from your time in wrestling and stuff, and maybe even acting, are there funny backstage stories or road stories you can share? Maybe you've seen happen. You can change the name to protect the innocent if you need to.
Oh man. So I don't even know, because I haven't really done too much. All my acting jobs have been pretty cool and straight to the point. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have any good stories for you. The Bobby Brown one was kind of crazy. The wrestling ones, I think I've already mentioned. I'm drawing a blank here. Oh my goodness.
It's all good.
Know. Man, I don't know. Man, you do get the
Hey, it's
last
all
of
good.
me. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Hey, you have so many years doing that. They probably all run together. You know what I mean? So
I'm just trying. I think probably how about this? I think I got to give you something. I can't give you nothing. I think probably one of my favorite jobs I did was a zip line park. So I love doing active and adventurous stuff. Apparently, I just have a death wish on me, because I just do a lot of street stuff. But it was like a whole aerial course. You get to like zip line and do all that. So that was pretty fun. We did an amusement park shoot, but I didn't really do much. Just recently, I got paid some big bucks for being a B-Dubs hand model. You couldn't see my face at all, but all you saw was like me dipping a wing into sauce. So yeah, I guess that's what I have for you.
Hey, that's awesome. Hey, I like Seinfeld now. There's an episode where the one dude was a hand model, and they're like, "Let me see your hands," and they're like, All right, yeah.
See, if you watched Friends, there's also a hand reference in there as well. Joey's trying to find his
Okay.
hand twin, so he just walks around looking for people's hands who matches him.
Okay. A hand twin.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now with the zip lines and stuff, do people ever get stuck in the middle? Because I've never been to a
Yeah.
zip line park. I've done my own thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And you've had to go and get them out, save them.
Yeah. So, well, no, you got to save yourself. They don't save
Oh.
you.
So what you got to do? Like,
No, first off, if you ever go zip line, make sure you have gloves. If you don't have gloves, then you probably should not be at that zip line place. But if I'm going like this way and I get stuck, I have to turn and just use my arm strength and just pull myself to the platform. Something that is really cool that you should check out is the Virginia Beach Adventure Park. That's an aerial course. Now that is really cool. You like walk on these logs and like these logs like roll from under you and you walk on these swinging wooden beams. It's very cool. So if you ever get a chance to do an aerial course like that, I highly recommend it.
oh yeah. Virginia's not far from me. It's only a couple hour drive, from Delaware. So I'm always looking for something to do. Yeah, that Virginia and Tennessee, they always got that cool stuff. You know what I mean, out there. Like
For sure.
That's right. So I do want to say before I pass it to Remy, thank you very much, for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on chat with us. I definitely had a blast. I wish nothing but the positive things for you and your family and all that. And I wish on Thursday your doctor gives you good news, so you're back in back in the ring doing your thing in no time. And I hope you get all the good acting gigs, while you're waiting and all that good stuff, and all the positive things that happen to you and your family.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Katie, thank you very much. We really and truly appreciate you, taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our. I'm actually amazed. I'm like, we actually have a member of the Hebner family on here. Wow, that's crazy.
Y'all make me feel special.
Hopefully, hey, well, you're part of the show, man. You put on a show. I mean, and the fact that you, like I said, you risk your body, and I know that there's injuries and things that happen, and it's not people. That's the thing that people tell me. It's like, oh, it's all fake. I'm like, okay, well, you go run the ropes. You go run the ropes, and you land wrong, and then let me know how it goes. I'm good. I'm not gonna run no ropes. I mean, I leave that to young boys like Rob and young girls like Kathy, and whatnot. But I'll stay being a fan / podcaster and whatnot. Yeah. And I just got to say thank you for the matches you've been giving us, and keep up the phenomenal work. I know your dad is proud. And you know something? Rob says it. Rob, hopefully we can get not just Earl, but Dave Hebner on here. Because since they're twins, I like to interview twins as well. Because it's always something about different personalities and so on. I would like to see, maybe they argue like, you stole my spot. No, you stole my spot. I was supposed to be in that match. That could. By the way, how is Dave these days? Is he like?
Yeah. So he's not doing well. He's not in the best health right now. So
I didn't mean to act, but like I was like, is he still like active with the wrestling world? And I do hope he gets better soon too. But
I don't want to disclose too much information just for like the privacy of his family or his immediate family. But he's hanging in there. I will say he's the sweeter twin. I can give you that much. He's the sweeter twin of my dad and him. But he's here. He's pushing along, and just prayers will be great. Prayers will be needed.
Okay. And by the way, Katie, I must say you are actually a hot commodity as well too, because our own Scott Bruce actually has a message here. Our good friend Scott Bruce down in Texas, who runs VWR, which has people like Rachel Rose, Amber Rodriguez, etc. He's doing his thing down there, and he said pretty much they're ready for you down there in Texas. And Rob, you're gonna like this one. My other good friend Marcello in Delaware is also asking for you to be on CCW, so which is Capital Championship Wrestling, which is where actually something.
Make me rough a match that time if you come to Delaware.
And
we can watch the Terminator together, Rob.
That's right. There we go. I'll bring my stuff backstage.
There you go.
And the Renegade Twins they're actually the current champions there too as well. So,
Yeah.
and also Kaiden King and Kat Spencer's been there. So we'll have some fellow, Nightmare Factory alumni there too as well.
Yeah.
When
I
you
love
go to
those girls.
CTW. So yeah, they're you barely a couple matches in and they're already asking for you. So
Aw, thanks for the support, guys. I appreciate you guys.
hey, no
I will
problem. By the way,
definitely get back.
I've seen your boyfriend. That guy is huge. Has he ever thought about getting in the ring too? Because I'm like, I seen this guy and I'm like, yo.
So he actually did train for a little bit starting off, and I don't want to rat him out, but whatever, I'm gonna rat him out. He could not do it. Clearly, he doesn't wrestle anymore. He played football, and he said he was like, it's harder than football. So if anyone's bored one day, I just challenge them to just do it. Because like you said, it's not hard. I mean, it's not, well, it's hard. It's not easy. It's very hard. But no, he tried it out. So like me just trying to like do my wrestling moves and just try different stuff on him. It doesn't work because anything I do, all he does is just powerhouse me. So it just frustrates me. But yeah, no, he tried it. It wasn't for him. He's like, yeah, I'll let you have that.
Yeah, I saw a dude and I was like, that guy could be a wrestler, man. Like real talk. I could definitely see him, doing the damn thing and making it happen and whatnot. I probably see him be like,
people think he's a wrestler. When I bring him around, people like at a convention that we were at one time, a random girl, like a little like 7 to 8 year old girl, thought he was a wrestler, asked for his picture, and of course he was so uncomfortable. He was like, I don't know this random girl. Where do I pick her up? Where do I hold her? So like he has a picture of him holding this random like small girl on his shoulders just because they thought he was a wrestler. So he gets it a lot.
I've probably seen. I'll be like, "Hey, man, I'll buy your merchandise. Just don't hurt me or beat me up, man. Like, I'll buy all your 8x10s. Just don't kill me, bro." But yeah, man. Hey, Katie, I'm just, I wish you nothing but the best, positive vibes. I don't know if we'll ever get your dad or your brother on here, and they probably don't even know because like, who's Remy? But tell them I said thank you for all the matches and the memories that they've given us.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always say, respect the referee. We're actually gonna be making a shirt dedicated to the referees. So yeah, I'll definitely be, because like I said, the referees count, man. They're one of the most important parts of the match. So
yeah.
But I'm just gonna say, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you on AEW or WWE or Impact. And then I'll be, screaming at the top of my lungs, yeah, we just had her on the show. That's great. Because we always like to see people like be on the show, and the next thing you know, they go on and do big things, and this makes us feel happy for them and whatnot, just to hear their journey from the start and so on. So thank you very much. We wish you all the best. But before we let you go, we just have to ask, where can fans find you when they want to find out when your next appearance is, or when they want to purchase Katie Hebner merchandise? Or where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows and whatnot?
Yeah, so my most active, I'm on Twitter, but I don't like tweet that much. But my most active pages are on Facebook. It's K Hebner 2, and then of course Instagram Katie_Hebner. I'm a little more active on that. Excuse me. And then of course, if you guys just want like a glimpse in my everyday kind of boring life, it's just Katie Hebner on YouTube. It was funny when you said thank you for taking the time for you today, because I was literally thinking like, yeah, I have my busy day recording a dog. But yeah, you just find me on those platforms, and I'm pretty active, and I usually get back to everyone. But I thank everyone for their support. You guys are great. Thank you so much for having me. Y'all are awesome, and I'll definitely put in a bug in my dad's ear. Make something happen for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. We actually.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was thinking, is she gonna respond? Because she's been on my radar for so long, and I've been wanting to get her on here. Let me go ahead and just send a DM, because I know she's busy and whatnot. She's a Hebner, so she probably got a lot of things. And I'm like, let me just go ahead and just because Kathy's the one that's the boss when it comes to booking. Like she booked Thunder Rosa and all these people. So I'm like, let me see if I got that Kathy magic, man, that Louisiana magic, and lo and behold, boom, like. But I really appreciate the opportunity. But you were gonna say, go ahead.
Well, one, it's a smart choice that you have a lady in charge. So power to you, Kathy, for keeping these men straight. I I forgot. Remember. I was gonna say we can just put it on record for you guys that you guys are my first interview, my first podcast. Whoop whoop. So shout out to you guys.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Woo! As Rob would say.
Well, it's been so much fun kicking off y'all's season premiere, and I hope that you guys have a great season. I will definitely be following you guys and keeping up with you guys as well, because y'all are just as equally as important. And like I said, y'all keep us going. So from the bottom of my heart and everyone in this business's heart, like, thank you guys for your support. We can't thank y'all enough. Thank you for investing in us and believing in us and supporting us and just taking the time for us. So I hope you guys know that y'all are just as special.
Yeah.
Kathy Magic.
Actually,
We appreciate that. That's awesome.
Actually, tomorrow we're going to be having one of your fellow referees from Nightmare Factory, Luis Santiago. He's going to be joining us tomorrow.
Aww.
And we're actually in talks. I'm just going to say it. We're actually in talks with one of your opponents, Giselle Azur, to be on here. So I said,
she's good.
like I said, one of your class 3 classmates was like, I want to be on. I'm like, oh, don't worry, we're coming for your whole class. And that's how we're seeing. We had Kid Bandit and Ishmael Vaughn. So yeah, we coming for everybody. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. We got another shot. We have 50 minutes of Phantom coming up. But before we do that, Kathy Knight, where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, everything Becky Lynch and Paige and good eating in Louisiana? Still got to try Cafe Du Monde when I go there.
Yep. So I am on, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome. Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spence to my Burton Guster, and the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out where your next promotion is, and when they want to purchase Rob Bass merchandise? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, Rob_Bass82, and then YouTube, Facebook, Rob Bass.
Cool. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, but who knows, maybe this season you'll get lucky. You can actually find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. We're also on Facebook as a group, Ringside Society. And we're also on Spotify where you can see season 1 and season 2. And I know I'm missing something, and it's probably, yes, we have a YouTube channel. No, we're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, and we're on a YouTube channel, which is where we have a lot of impressive episodes, like this one, like the one with Paul Espinal, the referee for Nightmare Factory, Diamond Sheik, the bodyguard Austin Green, and many other Nightmare Factory alumni, and even people outside of Nightmare Factory, like Anakin Rosa, who's Thunder Rosa's son, who's also our first ever podcast interview for him, and many others. So definitely check us out. Go to YouTube. When you type in Ringside Society and you see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, you'll know it's us. So subscribe to all of our videos because you won't want to miss a thing. And with that being said, am I missing something? I gotta feel I missed something else. I think that's it. But anyways, Kathy, correct me if I'm missing anything. You know, you're the one that's good with the analytical stuff and stats and whatnot. But with that being said, I saw you were gonna say something, weren't you?
I think that's it. Just take it on home.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that being said, we here just want to thank everybody that tuned in live. We really and truly appreciate it. We know we're not the best, but we try to bring you some of the best content you can hear. And it's pretty much time for us to shut this down. So once again, thank you for everybody that tuned in live. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we go. Oh, I know what I was missing now. Kathy, you're supposed to remind me. I told you I'm getting old. We have a Teespring store. Yes, we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have shirts. We have hoodies for the cold season. We have tank tops for the summer. And we also have coffee mugs for your favorite beverage. So just go ahead and, check us out, cop some merchandise. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. Doesn't go into our pockets. I'm still eating hamburger helper. Kathy's still trying to get buy one, get one free from Cafe Du Monde. And Rob is eating Kool-Aid sandwiches. So please, definitely help us out. But with that being said, yes. To those of y'all that tune in live, thank you very much. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we would just go away and take our merch. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral, Rob Bass at a taco festival, and Kathy Knight at Cafe Du Monde, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. Season 4, baby. Kobe Kingston reference. But with that being said, Ayo, Kathy Knight, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for Katie Hebner, the daughter of Earl Hebner, niece of Dave Hebner, sister of Brian Hebner, and Nightmare Factory Class 3 graduate. What type of podcast are we?
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. We're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. We're not just any podcast. We are the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. Hashtag we are not the same. I know I did things a bit backwards there, but I had a week off, so I'm kind of working off the rust. But with that being said, we're still going through a pandemic, and we have another segment coming up after this show. So until this pandemic is over, just do us 4 things. 4 things we're asking you. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.
Bye.